Hello. It is now 11:53 a.m. It's been weighing so heavy on my heart about those fraternal twins, Jemiah and Jaden Bratcher. Um, I don't know if they were foster or adopted. I'm not clear on whether or not they were foster or adopted. I guess they were adopted because they have the same last name as the adoptive parents. So I mean, the story has gone viral and trending. And I talked a little bit about it a couple of days ago. Excuse me. So, it's a big story. It went so viral that I think the whole world heard about it. Um, so last night, I prayed for them and I could not sleep thinking about their situation. Um, what time did I go to sleep? Excuse me. Yeah, I could not sleep for a long time, and then I think I fell asleep probably after 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I woke up. It was right after 10 o'clock. I was disappointed because I was hoping to have slept earlier and woke up earlier, and so due to my targeting, and the gang stalking and everything, they vibrated me really bad last night. So they vibrated my whole body really bad last night. So you know how they say that a lot of foster children, like, it's a form of human trafficking for you know so-called fake governmental pseudo authorities to come into your house for whatever reason they want and snatch up your kids and put them in a fake system called legal kidnapping. And they can do whatever the hell wickedness they want to your children. MK Ultra them, brainwash them, mind control them, put witchcraft on them, put them in cults like what I went through. And the foster parents, get falsely praised and glorified as good people. And they got these people who are brainwashed with this false ideas that that's like if you're an innocent person that go to jail for no reason or something you're falsely accused of, and people think that because you went to jail that's proof you're a bad person, that you're guilty. Not always the case. So, if a child gets taken away from their birth parents, like what happened to me, people automatically jump to conclusion and falsely assume, like they know everything about, oh yeah, the biological mother, oh, she must have been, she must be on drugs, or she must be poorly taking care of the children, or she probably beats and abuses those kids. And oh, they will be in such safe, loving arms with the foster parent. Oh, the foster parents, oh, the fact that they're rescuing kids, and oh, they're such do-gooders with great souls and whatever. Nothing can be further from the truth. So, I mean, of course, this touched me so much because of, I know what I went through. So, I basically lost sleep last night thinking about those kids. And so I'm an identical twin. And I told a lot of my stories about, the foster care. If it weren't for the foster care abuse, I really think that me and my twin sister would be close and we would be getting along more likely. But then again, my whole family, biological family, really nobody can get along. But to the point where they the biological family to the point where they treat us like we're not family and delusionally believe, they convince themselves that we really aren't family to them. I think that if it weren't for foster care, then we would be more accepted. But things are different. So we got taken away. I heard that we were 6 months old. The foster mom will tell everybody 5 months, but she gets everything wrong. We were 6 months old, and the records said we were 6 months old. I think, wait a minute, let me think. I think we were placed in foster care at 6 months old. Hold up. You know what? We could have been 5 going on 6 months. I don't remember because I don't have the thing in front of me, but I think we were 5 or 6 months old. No, we were 6 months because I think we were placed in a foster home in like maybe March 1984. I don't think it was February because we were at some place, whatever an infar home is, St. Vincent's Infar Home, INFAR, whatever that means, from February to March, like for a whole month. And so I heard different stories. Some people said that the foster dad, Al, was the one who found us as babies and fell in love with us. And then took us to the took us to the foster mom. But I don't know. Because but then so we were like, somewhere in between 5 and 7 months when we got taken away. And then we were in some little, I guess, group home for babies or something, orphanage or something like that. And they don't call it orphanage, they call it group homes. So then after that, and they don't even call it a children's homeless shelter. They just call it a group home. So then we were babies placed in foster care at 5 or 6 months old. But the biological family, they say we were taken away at 6 months old. And I didn't find out until after we were adults. Like, I didn't find out until recent years that the biological sister Ramona told me that because of the biological brother Pete made up some lie on the biological mom Frances, and they were arguing, fighting, and not getting along. And so Pete made up some lie on the biological mom, and they were arguing and fighting over money or whatever. And so then, after that, they said that, that they say Pete lying on the biological mom, Frances, is the reason why we got taken away and put in foster care. But I heard that, that we were in foster care. Like the biological mom had 3 decades of, like, 3 children in the 60s, 3 in the 70s, and 3 in the 80s. And and so that was, like, so me, my twin sister, and the youngest brother were in, that last batch, the 80s batch. And so then I heard that Ramona some kind of way protected the youngest brother Derek from, because I heard that they were about to snatch him up and put him in foster care too. So I heard that just about every last one of us then in some way or another been in foster care for at least a moment or whatever, been in foster care except Derek, the youngest. So I heard that Ramona, and this is what my twin sister told me, that Ramona had I'm Candy and my twin sister's name is Brandy. So I'm saying this, doing this, like, y'all, my subscribers, y'all know me, but people who might newly come across my channel because of this topic, that's why I'm explaining things like this, to get a backstory in case people are, in case a new person might come across my channel or something. So I mean, I'm sorry, I'm extremely nervous. My anxiety is, like, really high, talking about this. And so I mean, I'm not even sure if turning off the light would do any good. I wanted everybody to see my face the whole time, but it's daytime, so I'm probably not going to turn off the light, because it probably will still have the same outcome. Because, when I turn the light off and it's nighttime, it take up less storage space on my phone than if I have all the lights on and it's during the day. Excuse me. So I heard from Belinda on down to us had, for at least one period or another, been in foster care. So I heard that, the first batch, the 60s batch, I think I heard that Belinda, Ramona, and Pete were in foster care in Milwaukee, and Mark was the 70s batch. So I heard Mark was in foster care in Milwaukee with them too. So I heard something about, well, I don't know, Ramona she does good with trying to cover stuff up and pretend to make everything sound fake nice, but Ramona's the type of person that if she has been through any abuse, then she try to cover it up. But she try to make bad stuff look good, yet does so much evil and wickedness. So she tried to basically rub it in our face about how she had a rich white foster family in Milwaukee that used to take her on camping trips. But she didn't say much detail. But she said that that they separated her and Belinda when they were kids. So the biological dad, Arthur, was in the military, and he fought in the Korean War. So, I mean, if you think that, he was a authentic New Orleans, Louisiana Creole. And my biological mom was black with a lot of Native American. So, you would have thought that somebody like Arthur Grand Prix would, be protective and strong and fight for his kids or fight to take care of his kids. But, the family was just totally dysfunctional pretty much. And I mean, it doesn't even seem like as if Arthur took any initiative at all. You're supposed to be the protective father. but then again, if there's family rumors that they want to say, oh, you don't belong to Arthur because you're not light-skinned like him, in which I don't believe that's true, because I don't have to take after his features necessarily in order to be his kids. I mean, to be his child. So, because how come they can have some of Arthur's kids that take after their moms? Like Yolanda took more, the half sister Yolanda off of the dad's side. She took more after. She obviously took after her mom. So I mean, you're not gonna always take after your dad, but certain moments, or you're not gonna always take after your 100% after your mom. But I guess Arthur kind of probably favored the children that looked more like him or take after him. So the biological brother Wyatt, he is definitely Arthur's biological son. But Wyatt thinks everything is funny, and he laughed and said that, Arthur found out all those children wasn't his, and not all mama's teeth out. Like trying to say that Arthur, the biological dad Arthur, that he found out that all of us weren't for him and knocked all the biological mom Frances' teeth out, and that's why she was walking around with no teeth or something. But I heard both ways. Arthur and the biological mom Frances could not get along, and I heard Arthur was an alcoholic, and they were always fighting and breaking up and then getting back together even after being married, So Pete is definitely not Arthur's child. And I don't think Sean is either. And they say Derek is not Arthur's child. But me and my twin sister, we got some resemblance of Arthur's side of the family. And so because they treat us like less than, and they make it a rumor that we don't belong to Arthur, they treat us worse. They treat us bad, like they don't care about us. So basically, we were taken away and put in foster care, and the foster mom abused us and put us in a cult. And I talk about the foster mom's abuse on my channel all the time. And so basically, I heard that it's considered human trafficking to be put into foster care. And then basically, I heard that it messes with the child's mind, simply to be stripped from their biological parents. So then I heard that they profit. They use foster children as cash cows, and in MK Ultra mind control, medical experiments. They're so quick to put you on medication. They're so quick to get bonuses. They're so quick to put you in special ed when you don't need to be, and messing you up, making you retarded if you weren't born, quote unquote, retarded. So I grew up and abused in foster care, bullied at school, and I've been called retarded since first grade. So so from what I've researched, from what I've listened to or read up on, Jemiah and Jaden Bratcher, I think I heard that they were taken away and put in foster care or adopted or something at 4 years old. I think I heard something about that their names were, even first names were changed and they were hard to find. But I think I heard that some cooking related accident happened in the home, and it got blown out of proportion, and the kids got taken away and put in foster care. And I heard that they had an older sibling that passed away or died or something like that. And I don't know if the older sibling died in foster care. I don't know the whole story. Now, I'm disturbed. Like, remember the other night I told y'all about the homeless young woman that she said she was homeless, and I think she mentioned about foster care and cults too, and the trafficking. I think she said her name was LaShawn Monique or something. And she exposed the truth she did a video exposing the truth about the Marcus guy, and a few other people had exposed him, the Marcus guy that does the Atlanta street interviews. It seems like he preys on the poor and homeless and exploits and traffics them and gives them a cheap ass $10 and won't really help them. And I know that Monique, LaShawn Monique person, I know she ain't lying. You know, so I'm disturbed that basically the Atlanta street interviews guy, if he walks up to and approaches homeless people and does interviews with them and then traffics or does something sexual to them later, or try to hold them hostage or make them a sex slave, and it's so extremely disturbing. I mean, he did the devil horn hand sign with both hands and sticking out his tongue. Like, he did that, with both hands and sticking out his tongue. So then it's like always the wicked that's protected. And they had a whole bunch of people going on another female's page, talking about, oh, he got every right to sue you for slander, take this video down. Oh, he got 2 kids, why would he? So I don't even know if he might be part of the conspiracy that Jemiah Bratcher is missing. If he knows something and he did it seemed like there are over 10 videos of these children. So even the twin brother, Jaden, spoke out about abuse he endured with the so-called adopted parents that were from Illinois. And I hear conflicting stories. Like, obviously, Illinois is not 2 states away from Atlanta, Georgia. But some people say 2 states, but they don't know what the 2 states were. And other people say that they drove a 14-hour drive to drive those kids all the way to Atlanta just to drop them off at a doorstep. These, like the parents, Lyndon and Angelica Bratcher, that's the adoptive or whatever parents, fake parents. And I heard that the husband or whatever is a fake preacher. So if they're so-called preachers and abusing these kids, they're running their own household like a cult. And they probably run their church like a cult. And I tried to Google search this couple, and there's not really much information about. They're barely even searchable on. It's hard to find. They don't have that much information about them on Google, about the parents nor the adopted kids. I mean, it's like the only thing you get off Jemiah and her twin brother Jaden is off of TikTok and TikTok and probably Facebook and YouTube and a little bit of Twitter. I mean, I can't really find them, on Google or whatever, but I'm hearing conflicted stories that some people are saying that the twin brother that a biological aunt had took him in, but that Jemiah, some people were saying that she ran away from a hospital or something and then got lost and then ended up back in Atlanta by this so-called 40-year-old pimp. And I don't know if that pimp that people might think is 40 years old, I don't know if it might be the Atlanta Street Interviews guy. I don't know if it might be, but they say he's like 55 or 60. And he sounds young. He does, because I thought that was a teenager. I mean, not a teenager, a young adult. So, that Atlanta Street Interviews guy, he exploits homeless, mainly homeless female prostitutes. And even if they're not prostitutes, he try to get them into trafficking. So he's popular, fake, and well-liked. And I'm going to put him out there. So, I heard that he even deleted the interview with the girl that exposed him. So, so I don't know for sure who the so-called 40-year-old guy or 40-year-old pimp that they said Jemiah was last known to be with, And somebody said that he threatened her back down to Atlanta and that she went missing and they don't know if she's dead or alive. And, trying to yawn and sneeze at the same time. So, other people are saying that, I'm hearing stories that rumors that she's safe and found and reunited back with the family as well. So I don't know, but I heard about this 25-year-old named Ruby Jean Clay that was supposedly a human trafficker, and I heard that a few years ago she killed a 28. I heard a few years ago she killed somebody. She killed a 28-year-old man over a cell phone. So I wonder, she killed him, like how she got back out of jail or prison. I guess if she agreed to do these nefarious jobs like trafficking, gang stalking, whatever else, if she had that Masonic red hair or burgundy fake hair or whatever, and some people think that the Ruby Jean person, I don't know if that's Jemiah and Jaden's cousin or what's her relationship to them. I'm not clear on that, but I saw an interview, she tried to make it like as if Jemiah was just irresponsible with money. Come on, man. Oh, these gnats. I really hate when people with exploitative, narcissistic personalities, people who exploit you and they got narcissistic personalities, they will take the victim. Hold up. I'm sorry. So they will take the victim and they don't teach you how to properly spend money, but they would take the victim And, they will falsely accuse you of irresponsibly spending your own money and try to control how you spend your own money, especially if they're trying to get over on and take advantage of somebody that's considered special needs. So oh, so I mean, and I heard that, the twins, Jaden and Jemiah, I heard people say that that they had autism. But, people were sitting there laughing and saying, your own black people laughing and saying that they're mentally retarded, that they're slow, or that they don't have common sense. And there's a few other people say that they're bright and very intelligent and well spoken. So I mean, they're actually laughing, talking about those kids are slow and all that. Those kids are probably drugged up on psychiatric medications. So if they I don't know, probably, because that's what they do once they get you. Like, they be trying to drug and medicate 6-month-old babies. I kid you not. Like, how the fuck you diagnose a 6-month-old baby with a mental disorder? Like, really? And y'all don't see anything wrong with that picture? And y'all first to how child abuse, because if you want to take your children to school with healthy, healthy food with no preservatives, no additives, whatever, as God intended. Oh, you want to take the child out and say that the child is being abused and neglected and not well taken care of. And you want to replace it with burgers, hot dogs, donuts. And then, wonder why kids are acting out of character. So, but, people say that those Bratcher twins, that they're very humble and respectful, good souls, that you could tell that they warm your heart and have good souls, and that they're humble and everything like that. So, and I'm mind blown that even though they're fraternal twins usually look nothing alike. But whether it be different gender or same gender, they look like nothing alike usually. But to me, they're boy and girl, and the boy's skin color might be a little bit darker than the girl's, but they look like, I can't even tell them apart in their boy and girl, but they look just alike. To be I never saw that before with fraternal twins. But then again, I've seen some same gender fraternal twins that look more alike than actual identical twins. But me and my twin sister are said to be identical, and the original birth certificate that the foster mom has says that we are identical twins. And that I was the first in birth order by only 13 minutes. So, I mean, but it's really, so the girl, some people say that she stole Jemiah's money. Like, the girl did a video interview and everybody was saying she's lying, and the girl pretended to play innocent and make it like as if Jemiah just wanted to get her nails done or get her hair done and do things that she was deprived of while in the adoptive or foster care. But what makes you any better, Ruby Jean or whatever? That boiled me up and made me so mad because, you know, and usually people with human trafficking, they got narcissistic personalities. They think they own you like a slave. So that Ruby, I'm being hit with directed energy weapons while I'm talking about this. So, they poked me in the right side of my back with the energy weapons just now. So, so she probably made up lies on the girl and manipulated and twisted the story just to make herself look innocent. And some people say that the Ruby Jean person probably had Jemiah killed. Other people say that, some people say that she killed Jemiah herself, and other people say that she's lured Jemiah and set her up to be killed. And they were saying that the Ruby person was lying, that the Ruby person was lying about the not being able to access CashApp, and I heard that she stole the money from Jemiah and bought a car. And I've had foster family, and biological family members exploit me like that. Try to make it like as if I mismanage money and don't know how to spend it. And they take, especially when you come into some a nice amount of money, they snatch it up real quick and make it like you're irresponsible. And so, like, if they might be like, you took $3,000 and spent it up on a whole bunch of DVDs and movies, when in fact they snatched the money up. You didn't just bought like one DVD. You didn't just bought one DVD that's like $5, or you might go to Dollar Tree and get $1 DVD from Dollar Tree. Out of the $3,000 that you get, and if a narc sees you with that $1 worth of, $1 spent from Dollar Tree on a movie, then they'll lie and say that, over-exaggerate and lie and say that you spent the whole $3,000 on movies, and they will use that to justify snatching your money away. And then they will go spend it on treating their homosexual lovers out. They'll take other people, spend your money on other people on purpose to rub it in your face and make you mad. Spend it on other children. Or, strangers, take your money and spend it on strangers' children. So, when all that money that I came into, Social Security back pay money, trust fund money, other money from miscellaneous money from foster care, work paychecks, the foster moms took all that shit, all of it. And I could have gone to college with a fucking car. The foster mom sent me off to college broke, penniless, with no money. No money. This bitch sent me off to college with no damn money. When I turned 18, she thought she had still try to control me and force me to go to the fake IDMR cult meetings even after I turned 18. Trying to make it like when I came home on semester breaks from college, she made it a mandatory rule a rule of her house for me to go into that, the fake IDMR cult. But, she used to make those threats, though. Her and the foster stepdad, they used to make those threats, though. They used to threaten. They used to really threaten to, that when we turn 18, that they will put us out cold on the streets, and that I'm going to be homeless, prostituting, and drugging, being on drugs and being homeless, be a homeless prostitute. No, she made it like I'm going to be a homeless, crazy, schizophrenic prostitute on drugs, homeless on the streets, living underneath the bridge and wondering where my next meal is coming from. She used to give me those narcissistic lectures. She had 3 biological children of her own and would have never told them the stuff that she told us. So now my twin sister had turned into the foster mom, more like started acting like the foster mom and bullying and abusing me, and picked up where the foster mom left off with the abuses, and is now have been gang stalking me. And I believe that the foster mom put me in a gang stalking program for revenge. So I guess if you're still in foster care and you're able to fight back against the programming, then you become gang stalked. But that's one avenue of how people end up, being targeted. So it seems like some people been exploited and trafficked all their lives, from birth to death. Probably some from conception to death. Because if they experiment on your mother while you're in her womb, just to MK Ultra and program you. So, the foster mom used to make those threats to have us out on for me to be gone and on my own. And she manipulated us to be helpless. She manipulated us to be helpless and dependent on her, even though I always wanted to be independent. Since I was 14 years old, I felt like I wanted to be independent. And she wanted, after we turned 18 though, they set it up to where she would still have control over me and taking money from me. Because that could have happened. What happened to Jemiah and her twin brother Jaden? What happened to, if I wasn't gonna get any money, then the foster mom probably would have kicked me to the curb too. Adrienne Felder, that's her name. Adrienne G. Felder. Well, she likes that G, middle initial G. Adrienne Felder, Felder, Adrienne Felder. So, this bitch sitting here getting foster parent of the year awards, despite being an abusive foster parent. And she was popular, well-liked, and favorite. Everybody's favorite in the foster care system. She won the foster parent of the year award. Now, I could have had a heart attack, because I'm like, how? And look at all the dirty shit you did to us. And every time we spoke out, she had so many people. She had her own cult following. That she had her flying monkey cult followers of her own. And she ran her own household like a cult. And she had us in that fake Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research religious cult. So if y'all don't think our minds is messed up and they had us over medicated, we were medically experimented on, all these fucking surgeries growing up. Every time you look up, we were always sick, going to the doctor. So, the foster mom, she used to make those threats. Even when we were 6 and 7 years old, she used to, because I used to think that Adrienne Felder was my birth mother, my real mom, and we used to call her mom, right? So I was 5 years old, and I had two strokes when I was 5 years old. And the foster sister Joni was 9. So when I had my stroke, at the beginning stages, of my first stroke that I had when I was 5 years old back in 1989, when I had the strokes, um, I do remember having the stroke, but I kind of don't remember. I remember a little bit about being at the hospital, but that Saturday evening, I just remember it was a Saturday, and I had a stroke, and the foster sister Joni said that while I was having my stroke episode, and Joni told Mark and Wyatt, that Adrian Felder is not our real mom, and our real mom's name is Frances. And I'm like, what? But I remember hearing that when I had my stroke. That was the very first time I heard anything like this. I don't remember. I mean, I have a few pictures, but I don't remember being 2 years old and visiting the biological mom. I didn't remember the biological mom Frances. I didn't remember Ramona. I didn't remember taking pictures with them. I don't remember any of that. But I remember but I mean, I don't remember at all. I have zero memory of the biological mom Frances having any visitations with us. I don't remember shit at all. But I read in the records, they said that the biological mom Frances, that her rights were terminated from seeing us when we were 2 years old. And I don't even know why. I don't know why. But they try to say that she neglected us. I mean, I talked about that recently. That they said she neglected us. So, they had us in special ed. And they thought I was too smart for special ed. But they said that I was badly behaved. Well, they didn't question the abuse going on in the home. How did I know just to be bad as fuck? To just be badly behaved. I'm sitting here not knowing any better and acting out the abuse that happened to me. And, they also added witchcraft and voodoo or whatever, So, I really think that I'm still affected by whatever witchcraft may have happened to me growing up. Because last night when I tried to sleep, it has not happened in a long time, where instead of having a nightmare about myself falling shortly after falling asleep, drifting off, I had a nightmare about an object in the house falling. And then I jerked back up out of sleep, and they call that myoclonic seizures or myoclonic jerks if you try to go to sleep. And this used to happen to me all the time in Denton, Texas. So they hit me with the direct energy weapons, vibrating my body, keeping me sleep deprived, and all this shit from foster care. So if they're it's like Christians aren't supposed to be like this. Like, they have to be like the false Christians that's up under the fake Pentecostal bullshit or whatever, because you see these fake Pentecostal pastors that just downright abusive. and they're demon possessed because they hit that kundalini and open up their third eye, which is forbidden. You're not supposed to open up your third eye. But I heard that they do it blindly and unknowingly. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard people say that open up your third eye is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit and can never be forgiven. But I don't know about that. But I just stay away from, opening your third eye and activating pineal gland and meditating. Do not do that meditation and yoga or none of that. Christians got to stay away from that. They had somebody who came on my channel today trying to urge me to meditate, do meditation. No, I can't do it. So I heard that meditating on the word of God is different from that new age emptying your mind kind of meditation. But meditate on the word of God means more like to just think heavy, on certain scriptures, and pray, about, and try to have a relationship with God and everything, But it's different from the new age fake emptying your mind and meditating. And they say that allow demons to come in or something like that from what I've researched. But even dealing with the foster care thing, it's like they're blood sacrificing foster children left and right. Trafficking, exploiting, and sacrificing children left and right. So, and then when I was in Los Angeles, I heard that it is not uncommon that if you grew up in foster care, then, because see, they try that on me. If you end up in foster care, then they snatch your children away and put them in foster care. And if they had kids, they snatch them away and put them in foster care and try to declare you mentally unfit if you're seen as having a quote-unquote mental problem. But, that's all the psychiatric system, the mental health system is all satanic, fake. They reject God, and they make you mentally ill. And they want to keep you a mentally ill. Big Pharma wants to keep you a mentally ill patient for life. So, I'm really feeling so, disturbed about that situation. So, I heard about, that if you're in foster care system, I heard that you're called system kids. So it's like the child trafficking, either labor trafficking, organ trafficking, sex trafficking. If we're seen by society as throwaways, just like adult home, and a lot of foster children end up homeless straight out of foster care. But see, the foster mom knew that I was coming, and I probably could have been in their situation and had no guidance, because the foster mom had us overly sheltered, kept us isolated, wanted us with no friends. We weren't allowed to have friends or really talk to nobody, or if we did, she controlled who we were allowed to be friends with or talk to. So, the majority of the time, we weren't allowed to go play outside. And we weren't allowed to go play outside, really, So, as I said, she used to have that Masonic smelly crab family across the street to stalk and spy on us and report back everything to her. And that crab family has a lot to do with why and how why I'm being targeted nowadays. So I mean, my whole entire life is freaking ruined. So, I mean, the foster mom, I guess a lot of people would have said she was considered my handler, my MK Ultra mind control, handler at the time. And she was a powerful witch and rich as fuck too. Rich, but cheap. She was cheap. And she would buy all these expensive fancy mink coats for herself. But whatever clothes she got for us had to be cheap and on clearance, like 90% off clearance on sale. And she was keeping all that money for herself. She would always pretend like she was broke or didn't get much money. And one time she was taking all my money after I turned 18, and she seemed like she was very bitter about it. And she got mad and threw it in my face during one of our arguments. She's like, let me tell you something, Candy. I don't get a penny from you. No, she said, I don't get a penny for you. Or something like that, So, also, she abused us and hated us from a baby. Growing up and forced us in this cult. And she hated us, didn't like us. And from 6 and 7 years old, she used to make threats to get rid of us and make threats to put us in a group home and say that we behaved so badly. And then she used to throw in our face, I'm going to have you put in such and such group home. And she's like, let me tell you something, Candy, you don't know whose drawers you're going to be wearing. Like, you don't know whose drawers you're going to be underwear, that you're going to be wearing. So, after this allegations that happened, about my twin sister being molested by the foster mom's cousin's 2 sons, we were taken away from the foster care and put, in a group home for a few days, and that traumatized us, And we were manipulated to want to go back to the foster home. But we stayed with the same, I think we ended up in that group home off and on like twice. And I don't even remember the name of the group home. But one time we went there and we saw Wyatt there. But Wyatt was in a different spot from us. But the biological brother Sean was living with the foster aunt Mickey. And Mickey took Sean's money after he turned 18 and was still abusing and controlling what he eats and everything. And yelling at him, lecturing him, calling him greedy. Sean was 19 years old. And I told y'all about how the foster mom, Adrian Felder, she used to take the foster sister, Joni, and she used to whip Joni with a belt when Joni was 19 and put bloody welts on Joni. So, yes, we were of age, and she was still controlling and abusing us. So the foster mom lied and said she wasn't getting a penny from me. And I'm like, bitch, you take my social security check every month. You take my social security check every month. What you mean you don't get a penny from me? So, it's traumatic to even be put in those group homes, being forced. It's like a homeless shelter for children. They do us so dirty. The abusive and cruel. I heard they sexually molest kids up in the group homes. And in New Orleans, it's more cruel and wicked because, they practice voodoo witchcraft and they're ignorant project and ghetto. Low class, ignorant, and ghetto. And they sold their soul to the devil. That's how you could be low class, ignorant, and then be high income because, bitch, you sold your soul to the damn devil. You know you did. And I heard that you got to sell your soul to the devil and make a pact with Satan in order to be. I remember researching about this back in 2012, 13, 14, that you have to sell your soul to the devil and be an initiated witch in order to be a certified foster parent. And see, that's the thing they don't tell y'all. That's why these foster parents be rich. They be rich and they be programming and MK Ultra mind controlling and abusing us. So, I mean, my brother Sean, the biological brother Sean, he even talked about being abused and sexually and physically abused, like, and tortured in the group home. That the women used to try to kiss him in the mouth and then laugh at him. And like, so when New Orleans people, I physically experienced, if people do bully, harass, and laugh at me or do cruel stuff and then laugh while they're doing this wickedness towards you. And so I witnessed in the nursing home. I was volunteering at a nursing home when I was a teenager, and they would physically abuse the elderly and play psychological games and bully, harass, and laugh at them, and like medically abuse and physically, psychologically, and sexually torture them and think it's funny. And you're certified, like you're a whole damn a nurse. You're a whole damn nurse. Like, you need to have your nurse's license stripped from you. But no, they're considered good, upstanding, great-minded, nice citizens of society or whatever. So, I witnessed a black woman at Maison DeVille Nursing Home stab an elderly woman and laugh. She stabbed her with the cocktail of psychiatric medications. And the lady had the same name as the biological mom, Frances. The lady in the nursing home, her name was Frances Seitz. Her last name was Seitz. Frances Seitz. And this was in Maison DeVille in Harvey, Louisiana, right across the street from my high school, West Jefferson High School. And I don't remember that nurse. I don't remember her name. But she stabbed that elderly lady, Miss Frances Seitz, and said, Miss Frances Seitz said, motherfucker! Because she didn't have any teeth and she was real old. So she's like, motherfucker! She said, motherfucker. She got, you stabbed, and it seemed like at the nursing home, the black women, they used to brutally abuse the white people, the Cajun French white people, worse than their own black people. I guess they want to get like payback from our history with slavery and racism and all. So I guess they want to reverse it and try to get some fake ghetto revenge or whatever. So they had a field day with. So they do this in, like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they do it in jail and prison, in the psych unit in prison or something. If they see you as quote unquote mentally disadvantaged in some way, they do it in mental hospitals. They do it in group homes. They do it in elderly nursing homes. That they'll have a psychological and mental session with you where they play psychological games with you, and then laugh and think it's. The more that you're tormented and the more that you're terrorized and crying out for help, like, stop. That's the more they wickedly laugh. But it's not funny when you report them and say, well, this person was abusing me. If y'all think I'm too retarded and slow to fight back, or think I'm too retarded to make any kind of complaint against y'all, and then when you develop the smarts to make a complaint, you can become targeted that way too. So if they think you're too slow and too retarded and you outsmart what they think you are, then they want to make you have held, because they all got narcissistic personalities. So, and they love to exploit and take advantage. They take advantage of your money. and everything else. So so they would, they would laugh while tormenting and torturing you. And it's a big thing in New Orleans for them to do this. And so if you try to report them, and then they'll have this smear campaign to make everybody hate you and have the world mad at you because you told on them and make it like you're a snitch. Well, I ain't snitching because it's not like I told about other people's business. You did this to me. You did this to me. So they're mad at you and got the whole world against you and mad at you, and they smear campaign and lie and play like they're innocent and play like they're the victim. If they do stuff like had rough sex the night before, and where the guy would have passion marks and hickeys all over, yeah, narcissistic sex, that's what they do. Narcissistic sex, you have all kinds of fake passion marks and hickeys all over your neck, deep, like my fingernails are long, like the woman would have deep claws in the man's back, and just like, what kind of BDSM kind of violence the hell went on here? So they would use the passion marks and hickeys on their necks and deep claws in their backs from perverted, brutal sex the night before, and reverse it on you and lie and say that you put bruises on their neck and deep claws or scratches on their back, and you could have all your nails trimmed. And it's like, if you're a 6-year-old child being falsely accused of this, like in mental health group homes, or if you're in foster care or whatever, it's very confusing. Because I had that happen before. When the foster brother Joe, he physically abused and beat on me and put me in wrestling moves where I can't breathe, and then somehow bust my lip. And and then afterwards, he'll have me in wrestling move where I can't breathe and have me in this hole for like 2 or 3 hours, and then beat me some more. And it's like, it can get all confusing, So when I was 12 years old and I just started 7th grade, and he had one of his, moments where he beat me up and put me in a wrestling move where I couldn't breathe for at least 2 or 3 hours, and then somehow bust my lip and then beat me up some more. And so then the foster mom, look what you did to Joe. Look what you did to him. That's her biological son. So I'm like, look what you did to him. And then he pretended to fake, over-exaggerate, just showing off. And it's like, though, whatever. I mean, I couldn't even get a lick off of him. I could not get a lick. I was 12 years, I was a child, 12 years old. I couldn't get a doggone lick off of him. So if I couldn't get a lick off of him, I was 12 years old. Just turned 12. Could not get a lick off of a grown man. In his 20s, like 26, 7, 8, something like that. I don't even remember how old he was, but he physically abused and beat on me. And then the foster mom, and so she kept me from going to school for a week. And I even missed a field trip. She kept me from going to school. She kept me from going to school so I wouldn't talk about it. And so, in foster care, I don't want to get a little bit ahead of myself, but Joe had all these scratches and deep claws, and I don't remember if he had passion marks or whatever, but he had scratches and whatever marks from sex the night before. And the foster mom's like, look what you did. And I'm like, I couldn't even, and so I know I didn't do that to him. I didn't put any scratches. Like, come on. So this is the crazy shit that they do. Narcs, they are very sexually perverted. So how the hell you pin that on a 12-year-old child? Look what you like. Joe is the victim now. He nearly he could have killed me. Joe tried to kill us so many times. He even physically abused it. He used to do the same thing to my twin sister. Just randomly beat the fuck out of us for no damn reason. Like, I was 9 years old and tried to cook eggs. Nobody was in the house. I thought nobody was in the house. And I was left in the house by myself. Didn't have breakfast that morning. And the foster mom and everybody went to the fake cult Bible class. I stayed home by myself, and nobody was in the house, and Joe was gone somewhere. And so that was the first beating. I was 9 years old. The first beating I ever got from Joe. Joseph Paul Modelis Jr. Modelise Jr. Yeah, his son his dad, his father, Joseph Paul Modelis Sr. He was a famous singer, part of the funky. Your dad, Joe's dad was the famous part of the famous New Orleans music group, the Funky Meters. That's how these people, they got occultic connections. So the foster stepdad, Mr. John Terrell Thomas, it's spelled like Terrell. And they used to have us call him Mr. Terry. I freaking hated that man. And he was abusive also. So that's the foster mom, Adrian Felder. That was her fourth husband. And she retained her third husband, Alvia Felder, who she blood sacrificed. She blood sacrificed the foster dad, Al, and took a lot of his, she got a shitload of money from sacrificing that man. And she kept his last name. Because before Al, her last name was never Felder before Al. But she even married the fourth husband. And she even hated her fourth husband. And she expected us to accept and like this man. And she didn't like him. She hated the man so much that she was sleeping in a king-size bed upstairs while she forced him to sleep on the sofa downstairs. And, she kept accusing him of cheating. I guess he really was a cheater, but, she wanted to keep the fourth husband. And it seemed like she was putting witchcraft on him, too. But both of them were narcissistic abusers. I was too young to remember too much of whether Al was a narcissistic abuser or not. But she married the fourth husband because she felt like he had similar characteristics as the third husband, Al. And there was a point in time she was trying to sacrifice Mr. Terry. Unsuccessfully. But he kept cheating on her. And, he was just using her for her ass and her BMW, if you get what I mean. So he was working slaving 14 hours of work a day, being a manager at a furniture rental store, and slaving away 14 hours, and she was still richer than him, still the breadwinner from fostering kids. So she met the fourth husband, Mr. Turner, that old crusted dog. So she met him through, this is how connected the foster mom was. She met this man and married him. She met him through like our former social worker Turner Brown in New Orleans. I think he was from Mississippi. So Mr. Turner Brown, some kind of way, he was our social worker. And the OCS in New Orleans, they don't call it CPS, but it's OCS, Office of Community Services in New Orleans, 1010 Common Street in downtown New Orleans. I don't remember the doggone zip code 70114 or something like that. Something, I don't remember the zip code, but It was downtown New Orleans, and 1010 Common Street. That's the name of the foster care CPS system. So so the foster mom, Mr. Turner Brown, the social worker, he set the foster mom up with Mr. Terry. That's Turner Brown's nephew. That's the Masonic connections right there, you know. And so Mr. Terry, like, he eventually got away, and she beat him into submission. He was a fake Christian, but he was a fake Christian, and he was a porn addict, and abusive towards us, making up lies. He was the foster mom's flying monkey. And he was very sexually perverted and narcissistic, and used to make up lies on us and get us in trouble. And he was physically abusive himself. And so the foster mom hated us, and she hated that fourth husband. Like, she hated the man so much that she refused. She didn't even want to take his last name. And when the fake IDMR cult, when they would say, well, our first speaker will be Adrian Thomas, she would give them the most glaring, vicious, evil, hate, anger look. I mean, the foster mom had a couple of boyfriends after Al died. We were too young kind of like to understand, like a year or so after Al died, like the foster mom kind of, and she made it like she had with that narcissistic fake morality, that she had to have an interest or something in common. Like this man named Mike. They had the framing, the picture framing hobby together. So she dated and fooled around with him. I don't know why they broke up. But he looked way younger than her. And then she had this new boyfriend after Mike, this other boyfriend named Willie. Now, Mr. Willie, he used to make up lies on us and get us in trouble. I hated that man. And I was too young to understand. I didn't know what was going on. So one time I was like, we used to get in trouble for like stupid stuff. Like, if I didn't recognize who it was on the phone, and, oh, let me speak to your mama. Who is this? And then next thing you know, I get in big trouble from the foster mom for asking, like, who is it on the phone. But if you ask who is it at the door, if you don't ask who is it at the door, then you get punished for not asking, if you open the door without asking who it is and letting people in. But I didn't understand that. So the Willie guy, the foster mom, had the snake interest. They were interested in snakes, reptiles and stuff. So that's how they got hooked up. So it's like they had these fake dating standards with their fake morality, that in order to date somebody, they had fake rules and standards that, you had to have something in common with this guy. You had to know him for at least 6 months or a long time before dating. And they didn't even follow their own rules, their own standards. That, if I was 12 years old, I couldn't be friends with a 15-year-old. Oh, what you got in common with the 15-year-old? Y'all not even the same age. So like the same thing with friends. They just thought they were perfect, while they were crooked and wicked and just evil. So, like, the foster mom, she married the fourth husband and refused to accept his last name. I mean, you hated Al enough that you killed him, but you kept Al's last name. Your evil ass cremated him. You cremated your mother, Mildred Collins, which is not biblical. But I heard that the fake IDMR cult. See, the reason why the foster mom, as rich as she was, she would cremate people because her ass is too fucking cheap to bury somebody. She's too damn cheap. She rich enough to bury you, but she too cheap. She's cheap. But she got all these rich, nice, fancy. Look, she was driving around in a smack brand new. Look, it was summer 1993, right after Al died. Al died December 1992. And when summer 1993, June 1993, she was balling with the smack brand new pretty BMW 325i 1994, and it was a convertible, BMW convertible. And guess what? That BMW was a lemon. The BMW was a lemon. And she would always had to take that thing to the shop. And it was an expensive, fancy BMW. She had a 9-bedroom house. More than half the house you couldn't even access or go in certain rooms. Like 9-bedroom, 5-bathroom house, 2-story house. And everybody thought that it was that we were living in a haunted group home. So, like, the foster mom, she did stuff like, after I turned 18, see, she manipulated us to think that we were family. Because the foster sister Shelly and April and foster brother Joe, foster cousin Corey, Whitney, Mildred, Shelby, all them, Chris. We used to call them our cousins, our sisters, brother, foster nephew, Bryce, Kyle. We used to say, this is my nephew. Like, and I'm hurt because now all of a sudden and the foster mom hated us but wanted to keep a distance from us. And she still tried to control us, but we had to kiss her ass and call her. Because the foster mom, like, she never really cared to, like, call, after we turned 18, she never really cared to call us up and ask, how you're doing? Do you need anything? Is everything going okay? None of that. Everything was about, I'm such a horrible, bad person. I stress her out to the point where I caused her to have nosebleeds and everything. So, yeah, that's what she used to lie and say, that I stress her out and cause her to have nosebleeds. But you're the one bullying and perping and abusing me. Picking fights with me for nothing. I'm just sitting here, eating cereal for breakfast. And, I eat cereal for breakfast. And then she just walked up in the kitchen and tell me, you're going to wind up dead. And then walk off and angrily storm out and go downstairs. And I wonder, what is that for? She would tell me she would drive around neighborhoods saying I'm schizophrenic and crazy. She would drive around in neighborhoods and say, you're going to grow up to look like this homeless person, or you're going to grow up to be like that prostitute right there. You're going to grow up to be on drugs. And, like, why are you doing this to me? Unprovoked for no fucking reason. So, so the first time Joe beat me up. I was 9 years old. He beat me up for trying to cook eggs for breakfast because nobody else was in the house. And I cooked it properly. I think I've been cooking since I was 6, trying to cook ramen noodles. And so making my own sandwich since I was like 3-4 years old. So like, Joe beat me up for making my own eggs. And he just felt like beating every damn body up for cooking food. I mean, later on that day, Joni got punished or in trouble that later on that day, and Joe got mad and stomped on her foot and and Joni was confused. Like, Joe, why are you beating up on all us kids for nothing? I mean, wish I had more time to go on and talk about. I talk about it all the time, the abuses that we've been through. And for so many people to act like they don't believe me, think I'm lying, And then one time, it was a Saturday, and Joe beat me up. It was shortly after the first beating, and I don't remember what the beating was for. And then next thing you know, he's like, "Nah, I'm treating you to the movies." So he tried to pretend to fake treat me to the movies to cover up what he did. Now, I told y'all about how, and another thing, he lost his temper and beat up on me for no reason, and then turned around telling me, calm down. I'm like, no, you're the one who need to calm down. You're a grown man beating on a 9-year-old child unprovoked for no reason. He would take whatever pregnant wife he had and physically abuse and beat on his wife, punch her in the stomach and everything else. He took the foster boy, Ernest, and my twin sister said she was an eyewitness. I saw the aftermath, but she said she was an eyewitness to that the foster boy, Ernest, Joe slapped Ernest so hard, and he was autistic. Ernest was autistic. Ernest Anthony Wallace, I think his name was. And the autistic foster boy, Ernest, he switched back and forth between the foster mom, Adrian Felder, and her sister, Mickey. And Joe supposedly slapped Ernest so hard that he hit a fire hydrant. The boy had, and he hit Joe's biological son, Julian, half Filipino. Juju was right there, 6 years old. Now, you wouldn't do that to your own child, Joe, but you do this to this foster boy, Ernest. A black foster boy, Ernest. And he, slapped the shit out of Ernest so hard that Ernest, hit the fire hydrant. And then he lied and said that Ernest went crazy and ran into the fire hydrant on his own. And the foster mom believed Joe's lies. Like, Joe being this goodly little boy that can do no wrong. So, I walked up in the foster mom's bathroom, and Ernest was like, I'm surprised Ernest was still alive. What Joe did was attempted murder to Ernest. What he did to us was attempted murder. And this bitch is still running free. Joe is a straight up fucking psychopath. Joseph Paul Modelis Jr. He's a straight up fucking psychopath. And y'all can get mad and talk about, oh, he got every right to sue you for slander. Oh, I saw all those. Go ahead, gang stalkers. Go find Joseph Modelis and show him my fucking videos. Go show him my damn videos. I dare y'all. Oh, I saw those videos, because that's what they're notorious for doing. Go back and tell whoever. They did it with my twin sister when I did videos talking about every damn body. And my twin sister took it personally to her. Saw those videos you did about me. I'm going to speak out against fucking abusive people. And they always want to talk about, what you did. I'm just speaking out against wickedness. I ain't perfect, because whatever wickedness I did do growing up, I was brainwashed and didn't know any better, and I had to unlearn it and try to do righteousness. And I ain't self-righteous and I ain't perfect. But yeah, Ernest had like a volcano of blood splattering, it was a volcano of blood pouring out of Ernest's head. And it was running down fast. Ernest could have died. And we thought we had such cruel abuse happen to us. After I turned 18, the abuse got worse. Maybe because they were bitter and mad because they thought the foster mom trying to, I don't get a penny from you. The foster mom, she kept me around. She kept me around waiting around for that. She kept me around waiting around for that trust fund check, and because I kept trying to leave when I was 18. I made a failed attempt to go back to the biological family. Wasn't accepted. And I ended up homeless on the streets for a couple of hours and didn't know any better. Went back to the foster mom because that's all I knew. I mean, I was rough in the streets, on North Broad Avenue off of St. Bernard in New Orleans. It didn't even cross my mind to go to the biological sister Ramona's house. I called the foster mom up. And then that night, I was 18 years old, and it was right after Christmas. And that was after my twin sister and Ramona had tricked me and tried to hold me hostage over at and then, there's a lot of stuff. But my twin sister tricked me into going to see the biological family. Then the foster mom got mad, and they tried to make like we were children who ran away and all that. So, the foster stepdad cheated that night. So, the foster stepdad cheated that night. Mr. Terry, the fourth husband. So I'm so sorry that I'm jumpy all over topic to topic, trying to just remember stuff. But that's the closest to attempted murder that Joe has ever gotten on the foster kids. And then he treated his own biological son like a king who can, like a little prince who can do no wrong. And so the foster mom wasn't mad at Joe. She believed Joe's lies. My twin sister was too afraid to speak up in case something might happen to her too. And my twin sister waited till some time later to tell me the truth about what really happened. She'll lie to save her own ass. And I'm the type of person, me speaking the truth and then risking getting my ass kicked right on the spot. And the foster mom loved to believe the liars. And she's a damn liar. So, after I turned 18, the foster mom tried to keep control over me. But acting like she hated my guts, I tried to leave. Even when I was 19, 20, I tried to leave. And she acted like she didn't want me to go get on my own. But she tried to manipulate me to feel like I have to be dependent on her. And I was fighting for my independence. So she didn't want me to go and get my own place and move in New Orleans Towers. And that was other than college dorm at 18 and 19, New Orleans Towers was the low-income disabled place that's now defunct because of Hurricane Katrina. New Orleans Towers, in New Orleans Towers, finally, gotten there, and they were abusive and trying to have me evicted, and I just got there as part of the gang stalking. Excuse me. So, when the foster mom, when I confronted her, I'm like, why do you treat these teenage foster boys that's come in your care at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old? Why do you treat them way better than me? And you claim you had me since 6 months old. She's like, because this is a job. This is my job. And I'm like, well, how come it was parenting and not a job? It was parenting and not a job when you were taking care of us. Start your shit. You hear, Candace? Start your shit. Start your shit. And I'm going to call Miss Pierce and have you removed. We're good. Have me removed. But, but the abuse ramped up after I turned, the physical abuse and all that, from the foster brother Joe, the foster mom, everything ramped up after I turned 18. And they were mad at us for finally getting to see our biological mom. Because imagine being in foster care and being so blinded, like you're curious for years what your birth parents even look like. They wouldn't even show you what your birth parents look like. So, after I turned 18, the biological mom Frances and the biological sister Ramona, They used to make it like they didn't have room to let us come stay by them after we turned 18. And the foster mom put me in this fake YAP program when I was going to college. They paid me a cheesy ass $114 a month, and the foster mom was still taking my money. Any bit of money I was getting, she was taking my money. When I started college, she smear campaign and lied on me and made me out to look the craziest. Now, like, why are you showing, the most embarrassing kind of mental health things about me going to college? So, people used to walk up to me and tell me, the foster mom get a check for y'all, right? And I didn't understand it because she manipulated and led us to think that she was a parent who really cared about us or that really loved us. And so, where's the outcry from the foster mom being a crook, an abusive person, scamming for money, using us as cleanup slaves, having us to clean up every Saturday morning, keeping us wrongfully, undeservingly punished? Like, if you say hello to a child that, if you go to the grocery store with the foster mom and say hello to a child you went to school with or had the same class with, like, if I'm in 5th grade and I say, hi, Stephen, how are you? Or if Stephen can say hi to me first, we have the same the history class together, American history class. The foster mom will punish us and we weren't allowed to have social contact. She kept us she basically didn't raise us. I give Joni the brownie points for raising us because Joni was the one who taught us a lot of things. But Joni's supposed to be so dumb, right? If Joni was the one who basically taught us how to comb hair, tie shoes, wash dishes, stuff like that. Joni kind of was the one who teaching us how to clean up. The foster mom used to be like, get this house clean. I want my house clean. I want my bathrooms clean. I want the dishes washed, floor swept, mop. I want this. I want everything dusted, trash taken out. I want this done. I want that done. I want the dishes washed, rinsed, dried, and put up. And we were forced to go to a fake cult Bible class. All this for $20 a month, y'all. And then, dealing with kindergarten teachers locking us up in small janitorial closets for a whole classroom day. And they did it almost daily. Locking me and my twin sister up in small janitorial closets in kindergarten. They used to be brutal and restrain and abuse us, in special ed, even in elementary school, restrain us and rough handle us and be trying to break our arms. Not just us, but the other special ed kids too. The ones who weren't glorified as the favorite. If the teachers themselves manipulate and provoke us, or the other special ed kids provoke and harass and and bully you and stuff like that. That's what I had to go through. So, Jaden and Jemiah Bratcher, I heard that they have been psychologically, physically, mentally, and sexually abused. And I heard that the boy did with the interview, he mentioned that he was pinned, that his adoptive mom had pinned him down to a bed, like a bunk bed with a ladder, and that she squeezed his nuts. And she said, he said it really hurt. It's like, damn, that sounds kind of worse than what we went through. But I'm shocked that me trying to tell my story that I was abused in foster care and put in a cult, that nobody's interested or nobody wants to hear it. But if my race was different from black, if I would have talked about I was abused in foster care and put in a cult, it would have gone viral, plus been put in a fucking documentary. But these are black kids though, and their story went viral, and I'm glad that people people care and willing to help those kids, and people say that they have autism. But I'm really concerned and worried. As I said, I could not sleep, and who knows what more or what else they've been through. Shucks, if they can publish a book, but then they're gonna say that, oh, the adoptive parents have every right to sue them for slander. Nah, motherfucker, we telling the truth. You can't even write this is how the wicked satanic New World Order system is protecting these wicked people, that when you speak out against a wicked person, you don't even have to put it in the book and publish it. You just say it on social media. Oh, they have a right to sue you for libel, slander, defamation. Oh, we're going to get some cease and desist letters. Oh, we're going to take legal action against you. You take those videos down. Take that tweet down. Take that TikTok video down. Take this post down. And they try to scare you into submission. And they try to get you to sell out and make you sign a non-disclosure agreement. And then they try to pay you to be quiet, which if you take that deal, you've been and sold your soul to the devil, sold it out. And then they don't hear from you again. But if you take that deal and then you go speak out again, oh, they make sure they have you killed. So my heart is going out to those kids. Like, as I said, if the foster mom would not have been getting Social Security back pay, stealing my Social Security back pay, and living deliciously and illegally off of my $362 and then $365, while she left me with the small SSI check of $203, while she took the big check of $362, plus took all my Social Security back pay, plus took my fucking trust fund money, and stole, she took the money. Like, when I was 17 years old working at Popeyes, because of something my twin sister did, I don't know about my twin sister, but I had to be forced to, give the foster mom my entire work paycheck. When I was working at Popeyes, I had to give her all my money, plus at the same time being workplace mobbed and abused as a 17-year-old child at Popeyes in Gretna. I think it's 1401 Lafayette Street. Dwight Harris and Miss Gloria Simmons and Chanel Johnson, all three of them motherfuckers back then, year 2000, 2001, abusive, narcissistic gang stalkers. Dwight was an abusive, narcissistic opportunist. I'm talking about, I just exposed those three managers. And the Dwight guy was an opportunist that would, prey on the females there, even underage. And my teacher, Miss Spada, I don't remember her first name, from West Jefferson High School, that Albanian teacher who said she used to work for the CIA and that her job was secret, and she's Albanian. And so Miss Spada was in the Navy. So she said, my teacher, Miss Spada, it was like a LEAP, they had the standardized test for LEAP remediation. I had to take LEAP remediation in my senior year in high school, because the LEAP test, the standardized LEAP test, the PERP students, when I was in my junior year in high school, they set me up to fail the LEAP. And I had to take LEAP remediation, and they made a mockery out of me because I was supposed to be so smart. But if you're being abused while trying to take standardized testing or trying to take tests like SAT, ACT, LEAP test, CAT test, if you're going through abuse and trauma or torture or going through a rough time, you're not going to pass. But then sometimes by some miracle you might pass. But they cause a mental health crisis on purpose to set you up to fail. That's a different video and a different story. But Miss Gearhart, the slut teacher, I heard she was a fucking stripper at the teacher at West Jefferson High School. Miss Gearhart brainwashed Miss Spada and turned Miss Spada against me. So Miss Spada used to love me and she used to be nice, respectful, but Miss Gearhart put stuff in her head. And I always had Miss Gearhart never liked me, and Miss Gearhart, a narcissistic abuser who tried to set me up to fail her English class. And the bitch didn't want to see me graduate, but motherfucker, I still graduated from high school with 3.67 GPA. And she illegally and fraudulently and illegally took my honors credit away. Miss Gearhart was a narcissistic abuser, so she brainwashed me to Miss Spada, SPEATA, Miss Spada, and Miss Spada got hateful and turned against me. And she tried to say that the white guy from Popeyes, that the manager had every right to sue me for slander. And that was my senior year in high school, and that was the first time I ever heard that word, slander. Now, like, how he have a right to sue me for slander, but it was true. And he was doing it to other women, too. And there was a female that told me that she was my age, and she told me about that he tried stuff on her, too. That he tried to manipulate, and she was underage too. And I'm like, I didn't realize you were going through it too. And I'm like, dang. You were the one who was getting all the hours. But yeah, Mr. Dwight, he used to take women. He used to be bisexual and narcissistic and abusive. And he used to take women in the office and try to do, he used to do sexual stuff with the female workers, even whether they're of age and underage. And I could do a whole nother video talking about, more in detail about my Popeyes experience. Mr. Dwight used to try to make sexual advances at me too. But he was abusive and mean. This motherfucker acting like he wanted to, making like he wanted to ask me to invite him to my prom. I'm like, motherfucking no, you're too old. So I apologize, for my profanity. I'm just so riled up and upset right now. Dealing with the foster care abuse. The foster mom, Adrian Felder, had me blacklisted and workplace mobbed before my first job. I was blacklisted before my first job, and then for my first job, I had to deal with severe, bad workplace mobbing and was blacklisted, and it was very difficult for me to get another job. I was already targeted before I was 15 years old and very targeted. So by the time I was 17, I'm pretty sure I was, very, very targeted. So, they put you in the gang stalking program, which is another human trafficking, cults. These people freaking satanic. So, it's been almost 2 hours. I didn't know I was going to talk this long, which I do talk on average this long lately, but I figured if I would have known that this was going to be this long, I probably should have and would have done a live stream, but the gang stalkers would have muted my channel, muted my video, cut me off, disrupted. I would have had harassing comments and everything. If I would have, they would have sabotaged and disrupted my live stream bad enough that I would have to shut down the live stream. So I'm glad I did a regular video. And so basically this is in a nutshell of I'm just speaking out against my outrage about the Jemiah and Jaden Bratcher situation. And those adoptive parents don't deserve for those kids to carry their last name. I'm glad I'm not walking around as Candy Felder, because see, my ass, me and my twin sister, we had Stockholm syndrome with the foster mom, and we thought she was perfect, pure, could do no wrong, but she just put on that fake image of perfection. So, I put my 2 cents in and told my experiences, and it's not about me, it's about all us. I be trying to figure out Who else, can anybody else come forward if you were formerly in foster care or in a cult, if you've been targeted? A lot of the foster children are so mentally disabled that they don't even know about targeting or gang stalking or cults, and they might be heavily targeted and just don't know because they're that severely mentally disabled. So, my storage space on my phone is running out. So, thanks for listening to me almost 2 hours. So, I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. And if any of y'all people can come across my channel, then welcome.